Hi, I'm Emma. This is Empty Sews. Welcome back, or welcome if you're new. Today's video is going to be all about Sew Upcycled 25. Hopefully you've heard of this challenge on Instagram. We're getting towards the end of the month, so the challenge is almost over, but there's still a couple more days for you to make something super quick and enter the challenge. If you've heard of the challenge already, the information of how to enter, and I've also included the rules as well as the sponsors for the challenge are up on the screen. There's a few more days this month that you could whip up something super quick so that you're able to enter the challenge. If that interests you, I hope you join in. In today's video, I thought I would share what I've made for the challenge, and you'll get to see those items here first because I haven't posted them on Instagram yet. Hopefully that sort of video interests you and you stick around. The first item I made for this challenge is the Around the Block hoodie by Ellie and Matt, and I shared that in a previous video, which I'll make sure to link down in the description. I'm really happy with this make. I made it from 2 unworn jumpers. One was unworn because it had a high neck and that sort of thing has been bothering me recently, and the other was unworn because it had a few holes and stains, but most of the fabric was still pretty good. So I turned those 2 jumpers into this hoodie with the help of a few remnant pieces of fabric that I had left over from past projects. I'm really happy with this jumper. This pattern is really good for color blocking and using smaller pieces of fabric. So if you have a couple of jumpers lying around, or sweaters, or even sweatshirts, you could definitely whip this one up in half a day. It was pretty straightforward to put together and quite quick. I definitely recommend this pattern if you've got smaller items that you'd like to upcycle for this challenge. The next item I made ended up being a bit of a fail, so I'm not 100% sure I'm going to enter this one into the challenge, but I'll share it with you anyway because I think it's good to share your failures just as much as the things that you're happy with how they turned out. So this make was made from this shawl, which I got from a friend. She had it in her pile to go to the op shop and I took it out of there. And then I also found at the op shop recently this long sleeve t-shirt. When I was going through my upcycle basket, yes, I have an upcycle basket. I often pick up items that I see at the op shop or given items by friends. Yeah, so when I saw these 2 had that grey colour in common and it was the right type of grey, I decided that I was going to make something with both of these items, and I did. I made this cardigan. I used the Grab a Cuppa cardigan by Emporium to make this one. It doesn't look too terrible in the photos, but I'm not really that happy with it. I think because the shawl is a sort of rib knit fabric that the overlock was stretching it out in some areas. So to combat this, I decided to bind a lot of the seams. So if I just show you, so you can see I've bound the shoulder seam and armhole here, and that was to prevent some of the stretching that was occurring, and I've definitely prevented the stretching, but it does make the cardigan quite bulky in those areas and a little bit uncomfortable. When I realized that binding the seams was making the cardigan uncomfortable, I decided to then go in and use some ribbon on the seams, and this definitely stopped the rib from stretching. See, it doesn't stretch at all, which was good, and it made it less bulky, but I'm not really pleased with how this one turned out. So I'm not sure this one will get any wear or if it will go back into the pile to make into something else. That's how I'm feeling about that one. I obviously didn't have enough of either fabric to create the whole cardigan, so I used the sleeves from the long sleeve t-shirt to create the sleeves on the cardigan, and I used the shawl for pretty much the rest of it, and then I had just enough left over on the long sleeve t-shirt to create the hood. I didn't have enough of either of those fabrics for the lining of the hood, so I went to my scrap bin and I pulled out this grey cotton lycra. So I just used that on the inside of the hood. The hood piece that I used to add to this pattern was the one that I just had out for the around the block hoodie, and I think this worked out quite well. Pattern wise, great pattern. I've made this pattern a number of times, love it, but in this instance I think it was the stretchiness of the rib fabric and me thinking that binding the seams would be a good idea, when in actual fact I think it would have been better off to just use ribbon for all of the seams, and maybe it would have felt less bulky when I wear it. So I might wear it, I might not. It's not the end of the world. I think I spent $6 on the t-shirt and the grey shawl fabric was free, so so I don't really mind if I don't get any wear out of this item. Next, I made something that I'm going to share with you all next week as part of the Busy Bee Sewing Challenge. It was for challenge number 2, the Transformation Challenge. So I'm not going to tell you about that one right now, but come back next week when I share my video for that challenge and see what I made. Give you a little sneak peek, I did refashion this dress and this tank into something new. You'll have to come back to see what I made. I think this last upcycle is my absolute favorite. I have been wanting to do this type of an upcycle for a really long time. I only recently found a denim jacket in the op shop that I was happy with. I didn't end up using that denim jacket for this upcycle. That one ended up going into my closet because I ended up deciding that it was nicer than the denim jacket that I had in my closet. So I used my old denim jacket, which has also been purchased from an op shop just 3 or 4 years ago for this upcycle, and I also used this jumper. It was a zip-up hoodie. I got it from my mother-in-law probably at least 10 years ago, if not longer. I don't wear it as much anymore, but it was a firm favorite back when I got it. What I wanted to make was I wanted to combine these 2 items to make one item. I'll show you a picture of this jacket that my son has. We bought it for him a couple of years ago and he's worn it heaps. He absolutely loved it. He's really upset that it's too small for him now and doesn't really want to give it to his little brother. As you can see from the picture, it's a denim jacket body with jumper, sleeves and a hood. And I just think that that would be so comfortable to have a denim jacket with jumper sleeves and stuff, because I find denim jackets like quite stiff, like in the arms and stuff. So I thought, well, I've got this old zip-up hoodie and this old denim jacket, I'm going to combine them, and that's what I did. So I'll put up a couple of pictures that I took during the process, and now I'll show you what it turned out like. Here it is. This is my upcycled denim jacket slash jumper. You can see that I've taken the sleeves from the hoodie and put them onto the body of the denim jacket. I've also taken the hood from the hoodie. I've also added some of the patches that I got when I was away in England. I wanted to add all of them. I'll put a picture up of all of them together. I wanted to use all of them, but I decided to just start with 2, and if I like how I feel when I'm wearing it, then I'll add some more. And then the last thing I did was I added the hemband from the hoodie onto the denim jacket as well. I'll put some pictures of the finished jacket up on the screen, but I think out of the 4 items I've made for this challenge, I think the denim jacket is my favorite. But which one's your favorite? Let me know down below. There are a bunch of other vloggers who have either already made videos or who are still going to make videos, so I'll pop that list up on the screen. I hope you go and enjoy their videos. I've been watching most of their videos while I was making these things. So that's it from me. I hope you have a creative day and I'll see you next time. Bye.